Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Business from Scratch podcast. I'm your host, Abby McGee, and today we're talking about something that doesn't show up on your P&L. It can't be tracked in a spreadsheet, and it takes years to build. But when you need it, nothing else comes close. Today, we're going to talk about reputation. Specifically, we're talking about how to build it intentionally before you ever need to cash it in. Because most business owners only start thinking about their reputation when something goes wrong. A bad review shows up, a client has a poor experience, a competitor starts taking market share, and by then, you're playing defense. The business owners who win long-term don't build reputation reactively. They build it quietly, consistently, and on purpose every single day. And by the time they need it, it's already there working for them. Today, we're going to cover what reputation actually is, how it gets built and broken, what I've seen cost businesses everything, the daily practices that compound over time, and because this is super important, what to do if your reputation has already taken some hits. So let's get into it. You're listening to Business from Scratch, the podcast for people building businesses they love without losing themselves along the way. I'm your host, Abby McGee. Let's get started. I want to start by redefining the word because I believe we can think about reputation too narrowly. Reputation is not your logo. It's not your Instagram feed. It's not your Google rating, although that matters. Your reputation is the answer to one question. What do people say about you when you're not in the room? It's what a past client tells a friend when they recommend you. It's what a vendor says when someone asks if you're easy to work with. It's what a potential hire finds when they Google you before their interview. It's the feeling someone gets when they interact with your brand, whether that's in person, online, or through someone else's experience. At Salt and Charm, reputation is everything. We are in the business of hospitality, of showing up in someone's home or at their most important event and making it exceptional. There is no advertising budget in the world that replaces what a genuinely happy client says to their friends. Word of mouth in this business is the whole game. So when I talk about building your reputation, I'm not talking about marketing. I'm talking about something much deeper than that. I'm talking about the accumulated weight of every interaction, every delivered promise, every moment where you had a chance to do the right thing and you did it, even if it was inconvenient or maybe even seemed unfair. That's what reputation is, and it's built one day at a time. I want to spend a few minutes here being really direct because I think it can be the most instructive part of this conversation. Over the years of running Salt and Charm, I have worked with a lot of other businesses, vendors, partners, contractors, collaborators, and some of those experiences have been exceptional. Relationships that I treasure, people that I trust completely, businesses that I recommend without hesitation. And some of them have taught me exactly what I never, ever, ever want to be. So let's talk about the behaviors that can create a poor reputation, because if you're honest with yourself, you might recognize some of them, maybe in a partner you've worked with, and more uncomfortably in yourself at a particularly stretched season. Number one, not doing what you say you're going to do. This is the big one. I have worked with businesses that made promises to me, to clients or partners, and simply just didn't follow through. Not because of a crisis, not because something genuinely went wrong, just because following through required effort, and it was easier just not to. And every single time it happened, trust eroded until one day I realized I had just stopped counting on them entirely. And once that happens, the relationship is already over. You just haven't said it out loud yet. Number two, going silent when things get hard. I cannot overstate how damaging this one is. When something goes wrong, and in business, things inevitably go wrong, the instinct for some people is to disappear, to not return the call, to let the email sit, to hope that if they wait long enough, the problem will resolve itself or the other person will just give up. It never works. Silence doesn't make problems smaller, it makes them bigger. And it makes you look like someone who cannot be trusted when it counts. The businesses I have walked away from were almost always the ones who went quiet when I needed communication most. Number 3, letting agreements become suggestions, a contract, a handshake, a verbal commitment. These are not starting points for negotiation after the fact. When I agree to terms with a partner and they come back later and change what they're willing to deliver without so much as a conversation, that tells me everything I need to know about how they operate. Agreements are only as good as the integrity of the person who made them. And when I see that integrity isn't there, I make a note and I make different choices going forward. Here's what all of these behaviors have in common. They are ultimately about choosing convenience over character. And in the short term, maybe it works. But in a world where business runs on relationships and relationships run on trust, your reputation for these things follows you. People talk, especially in tight industries and tight communities. And the business owner who thinks they can get away with low integrity behavior long term is always wrong. These experiences have been some of my most eye-opening as a business owner. They showed me exactly the standard I want to hold Salt and Charm to, and exactly the kind of partner, vendor, and operator I want to be. Sometimes you learn what to do by watching what not to do. And I am grateful for every hard lesson, even the ones that cost me something. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand about reputation. It is not built in your best moments. It's built in your hardest ones. Anyone can show up when everything is going right. The event is smooth, the client is easy, the team is firing on all cylinders. That's not where your reputation is made. Your reputation is made when something goes wrong. And believe me when I say that your client is watching how you handle it. Do you own it or do you deflect it? Do you fix it quickly and make them fight for a resolution? Do you communicate proactively or go silent and hope they just don't notice? Those moments, the hard ones, the inconvenient ones, the ones that cost you something, those are the ones that people remember and talk about. In my businesses, we have absolutely had things go wrong. Every hospitality company has. An ingredient issue, a timing problem, a staffing challenge on a big day. What I've learned is that clients are far more forgiving than you think if you get ahead of it, own it fully, and make it right without them having to ask. The clients who've had a problem that was handled well are often more loyal than clients who've never had a problem at all, because now they know what you're made of. So the foundation of reputation is simple, even if it isn't always easy. Do what you say you're going to do every time. And when you can't, say something immediately. This episode is supported by Salt and Charm, the business I built long before this podcast ever existed. We offer luxury private chef experiences, full service catering, and curated weekly meal prep delivery in Wilmington and surrounding areas. Salt and Charm is where I've learned the lessons I share here about resilience, leadership, growth, and building something that doesn't run your life. We believe hosting should feel joyful and everyday meals should feel intentional. If you're in Wilmington, Hampstead, Wrightsville Beach, or Brunswick County, we'd love to serve you. Visit us on Instagram at Salt and Charm and on our website at saltandcharm.co to learn more. And just for our listeners here on the podcast, get $10 off your next meal prep order by using code podcast at checkout. Every week, we feed hundreds of people at their dinner tables, and we would love to help make your week a little less stressful and a lot more delicious. So practically, what does intentional reputation building look like day to day? Here are the practices that I believe matter the most. Number 1, show up consistently. Reputation is built on pattern recognition. Your clients, your community, your vendors, they're all watching whether you're consistent. Do you always respond within 24 hours? Do you always deliver on time? Do you always follow through on the small things as well as the big ones? Consistency is the foundation. Without it, everything else is just noise. Number 2, communicate more than feels necessary. Most reputation damage comes not from things going wrong, but from silence. When clients don't hear from you, they fill that silence with worry. Vendors don't get an update and they assume you're disorganized. We need to over communicate, especially when there's something to address. A proactive phone call before a problem becomes a complaint is worth 1,000 5-star reviews. Number 3, treat everyone in your ecosystem like they matter. Your reputation isn't built only with clients. It's built with your vendors, your team, your peers, your community. How you treat the people who work for you becomes your reputation as an employer. How you treat a vendor when an invoice is late becomes your reputation as a partner. How you show up in your local business community becomes your reputation as a leader, and every relationship is a data point. Number 4, be the business that does the right thing. This sounds obvious, but it isn't always easy. There will be moments where doing the right thing costs you something. A refund you technically don't owe. I know about those. An extra hour you don't get paid for. A hard conversation you'd rather just avoid, but do it anyway, because the people watching those moments remember them and they talk. Number 5, protect your online presence actively. Respond to every review, the good ones and the hard ones. Thank people publicly for their kind words. When a negative review comes in, respond with grace, not defensiveness. I have not always gotten that right. The way you handle a public complaint says more about your brand than the complaint itself. Now, let's talk about what do you do when your reputation has already suffered. Maybe there was a period in your business where things just fell apart. The quality slipped, the communication broke down, you overpromised, and you underdelivered. Maybe something happened that was outside your control, but still damaged how people saw you. Maybe you've got a string of bad reviews, or you've lost clients you should have kept. Or you know that word has gotten out in your community and it isn't good. First, take a breath. Reputation can be rebuilt. It's slower than building it the first time, and it requires more sustained effort, but it is absolutely possible. I have seen businesses come back from genuinely serious reputation damage. It takes humility, consistency, and time, but it can be done. And here's how. First, start with an honest audit. Before you can fix it, you have to see it clearly. Read every review, even the ones that are hard to read. Talk to the clients who left. Ask a trusted peer what they've heard. You cannot address a problem you haven't fully looked at. And as uncomfortable as that audit is, it is the only honest starting point. Next, own it publicly and specifically. Vague apologies don't rebuild trust. Generic, we're committed to doing better statements don't either. If your reputation has suffered because of specific, identifiable failures, communicate specifically about what happened and what you've changed. You don't have to air every piece of dirty laundry, but the people who've been burned need to see that you understand what went wrong, not just that something went wrong. Then change the actual behavior, not just the messaging. This is where a lot of businesses get reputation recovery wrong. They invest in marketing when what they need to invest in is operations. A new logo and a refreshed Instagram does not fix a service delivery problem. The only thing that fixes a service delivery problem is fixing the service delivery. So before you do anything external facing, make sure the internal changes are real and lasting. You will have to win back trust one interaction at a time. Reputation is not rebuilt with an Instagram post. It's rebuilt the same way it's built the first time. One kept promise, one excellent experience, one handled problem at a time. Be patient with the timeline. The people who were burned will take longer to come back, and some may not come back at all, and that is okay. It has to be. Focus on the next client, the next interaction, the next opportunity to show who you are now. And the most challenging part is to be consistent long enough that the new pattern overwrites the old one. This takes time and the results aren't immediate, but consistency over 6, 12, 18 months starts to change what people say when your name comes up. And that's the whole point. Your reputation is never fully lost until you stop trying to earn it back. So keep going. Let me close with a little perspective shift. Reputation is not a soft, feel-good concept. It is a business asset and one of the most valuable assets that you have. And like any asset, it appreciates when you invest in it consistently, and it depreciates when you neglect it. Think about what a strong reputation actually does for your business. It shortens your sales cycle because people come to you pre-sold. It gives you pricing power because people will pay more for someone they trust. It creates resilience because when something goes wrong, your reputation is the buffer. It attracts better clients, better partners, and better team members. It compounds because every person who has a great experience with you becomes part of a network that keeps sending people your way. In my business, the majority of our new clients come from referrals. That is our reputation working as a business development engine. We didn't build that overnight. We built it one event, one client, one handled problem at a time over years. And the beautiful thing about reputation, once you've built it, it works for you even when you're not working. This is the long game, and it's absolutely worth playing. So here's your takeaway from today. You don't need a fancy PR strategy. You don't need a massive following. You need to show up, do what you say, handle the hard moments with integrity, and treat every person in your orbit like they matter. If you've got some rebuilding to do, start today, one interaction at a time. And if you're in a good place, protect it like it's your most valuable business asset, because it is. I'm Abby, and this is Business from Scratch. Thank you so much for being here today, for listening, for sharing the show with other people, and for growing with us. I truly appreciate every one of you, and I'm so excited about what you are building. Thanks for joining me on Business from Scratch. Follow the show for more honest conversations about building a business that works for you.